I am Michael Kurosh. I live in Santa Barbara, California, one of the most beautiful places on earth. My design center is where people come to reimagine their homes and spaces. I work with the best designers, clients with broad tastes, and experts who navigate the fascinating world of design. I'm always excited to learn something new, and I never say no to a challenge. This is Design Santa Barbara. Welcome to Design Santa Barbara. Today we have a new series we are going to introduce. World Heritage Sites. Today we are at Stonehenge. This is a prehistoric site and we are going to learn more about its incredible history. Stonehenge is a prehistoric monument on Salisbury Plain in Wiltshire, England, 2 miles west of Amesbury. It consists of an outer ring of vertical sarsen standing stones, each around 13 feet high and 7 feet wide. Each stone weighs around 25 tons and are topped by connecting horizontal lintel stones. Inside is a ring of smaller blue stones. Inside these are freestanding trilithons, 2 bulkier vertical sarsens joined by 1 lintel. The whole monument, now ruinous, is aligned toward the sunrise on the summer solstice. The stones are set within earthworks in the middle of the densest complex of Neolithic and Bronze Age monuments in England, including several hundred burial mounds. Archaeologists believe the Stonehenge was constructed from 3000 BC to 2000 BC. The surrounding circular earth bank and ditch, which constitute the earliest phase of the monument, have been dated to about 3100 BC. One of the most famous landmarks in the United Kingdom, Stonehenge is regarded as British cultural icon. It has been a registered historic site since the late 1800s. The site and its surroundings were added to UNESCO's list of World Heritage Sites in 1986. Stonehenge is owned by the British Crown and managed by English Heritage. The surrounding land is owned by the National Trust. In 2019, over 1.6 million people visited Stonehenge. Stonehenge was constructed by a culture that left no writing records. Many aspects of Stonehenge, such as how it was built and for what purposes it was used, remain subject to debate. A number of myths surround the stones. The site is aligned to the sunset of the winter solstice and the opposing sunrise of the summer solstice. The heel stone lies northeast of the Sarsen Circle, beside the end portion of the Stonehenge Avenue. It is a rough stone 16 feet above ground, leaning inwards toward the stone circle. It has been known by many names in the past, including Friar's Hill and Sunstone. At the summer solstice, an observer standing within the stone circle, looking northeast through the entrance, would see the sun rise in the approximate direction of the hill stone, and the sun has often been photographed over it. Part of Britain's iconic Arthurian legend states that King Arthur's father, Uther Pendragon, aided by Merlin's magic, brought the stones from Ireland to England. From the 1500s onward, the mystery of Stonehenge inspired artists to paint the location. This allowed for a somewhat accurate documentation of the stone's collapse through the centuries. With the invention of photography, the stones entered British lore even more. The land on which they stood changed hands several times throughout the 17th, 18th, and 19th centuries. In 1915, they were purchased for £6,000, and 3 years later, the owner gifted them to the Crown. In the 1920s, the first modern effort to restore Stonehenge was undertaken. During the 20th century, Stonehenge became a site of great travel interest. For a fee, visitors could walk through the stones and some even climb them. This led to considerable deterioration, and in the late 1970s they were roped off. After a long legal battle, modern Druids were able to argue that Stonehenge is in fact a church and therefore access cannot be restricted. Now, upwards of 10,000 people come to the stones to witness the solstice and equinox every year. Stonehenge is also commonly referenced in popular culture, from Thomas Hardy's classic novel Test of the D'Urberville to the hit modern book series and television show Outlander. These ancient stones excite the minds of millions around the globe. What may attract people most to Stonehenge is the mystery behind them. After centuries of study, we still don't know its true purpose, and new information is discovered every day. In January of 2022, ancient tools dating back over 10,000 years were found at the site. One can only imagine what will be discovered in the future. I hope you enjoyed this visit to Stonehenge. Again, a World Heritage Site and an important one at that. Thank you for joining us. See you next week. Today I would like to talk to you about rugs. 3 important things to remember when you are buying a rug. First is the size. Size is very important, and this is what you have to do your study. So if it's for a living room, I recommend to have the front legs of all the furniture to sit on the certain rug you're buying. So go measure it. Make sure you have at least a foot extended beyond the front legs. If you can afford it, get a rug that encompasses all the furniture to be sitting on it. So usually for a living room, you're talking an 8x10, 9x12, a bigger living room, 10x14, and if you want something to sit on it, 12x15 or 12x18. Second, there is a style. It is very important that the style you pick matches the house you have. Check the room. Is it a traditional house? Is it a modern house? Is it a transitional house? You pick the style matching your house and your living style. Lastly, and one of the most important steps, is the type of rug you're gonna buy. I highly recommend you to do your study and see what type of rug is good for your situation. Most rugs I recommend are hand knotted. So these are the type of rugs that they're done by hand. They're mostly natural fibers. They don't have any chemicals. They don't have any machines involved making it. They're hand knotted and they get more valuable over the time, and they're very durable and long lasting. These are 3 things to remember when you're buying a rug. Thank you for joining us. This week on Michael's Minute, we are going to talk about rug cleaning and restoration. A fine rug is a family treasure often passed on from generation to generation. Rugs need to be properly taken care of to ensure their survival and protect your investment. At Santa Barbara Design Center, we are the foremost experts in professional cleaning, repairing, and preserving your rugs. Rugs should be hand washed every 3 to 5 years to maintain the structure. When was the last time you washed your rugs? Proper cleaning can extend the longevity of your rug, whereas steam cleaning can damage it. Restorations by Rugs & More include hand stitching, fixing fringes and sides, and reviving worn pile. For the finest restoration and cleaning, bring your rugs into Rugs & More at Santa Barbara Design Center today, 410 Olive Street. Welcome to Appraisals on Design Santa Barbara. Today on Appraisals we have this magnificent textiles that is from Bukhara. It is a dowry piece, so what happened is when one of the Turkmen girls or Uzbek girls, actually Uzbekistan and Tajikistan and Turkmenistan are, location is between former Soviet Union. They used to be part of former Soviet Union. Is between Siberia and north of Hindu Kush Mountains, which is Afghanistan, Pakistan, and this area used to be a cradle of civilization thousands of years ago, and they have a very old tradition of weaving that goes back thousands of years. But this particular Suzanis, they were made mostly in the 19th century, and they are made on a linen background with silk stitching over it. So the story goes that they were made in segments, and what happens is when a girl is getting married, her friends, her relatives, somebody dear to them used to get a panel, like usually they're wider than this, but this is a exceptionally fine one, so they made it smaller panels. And some person wove this part, some other person needlework this, some other person this, that, and this is 6 panels. 6 different people wove it. On her wedding day, they sew it together and presented it as a piece. And most of them were used as bed covers. In fact, they gave it to her as a wedding gift the first night that she was going to the bride's and groom's home, and she treasured it until her death, and then they passed along, and most of them beyond that they came to the West as collectible textiles. It's a very beautiful piece and has, if you look carefully, each element is a shrub, floral shrub, and is different. Has some old colors. You can see these aubergines, and then you have the madder, you have the indigo, and the greens kind of went to blue-green because the saffron and weld are less, have less longevity than indigo, so the blue takes over. They used to be greener, but now they're blue-greenish. It has some weaknesses, has some old repairs, but that's expected for something that's a mid-19th century, 170 years old. Quite beautiful, quite stunning. A lot of people use this still as a bed cover, as a headboard, beyond the headboard, hang it on a wall, and quite decorative. And a lot of high-end designers are using these nowadays as decorative objects. Again, from 1850s, it has some condition issues. Usually don't find this in perfect condition. If you do find them, they are extremely rare. I would appraise this today in a fair market value for $10,000 to $15,000. Again, come enjoy this piece and look at it in person in Santa Barbara Design Center. Thank you for joining us on Appraisals. See you next week. Today on Design FYI, we're going to talk about what not to buy when you're going shopping for rugs. Most big outlets or national chains, they sell nowadays hand-tufted rugs. This sounds like it's hand knotted, it's done by hand, but actually they are not. It's called hand-tufted and is actually a gun that rolls the wool around the warp, and they are not good rugs at all. So this is a sample we're having here for you to see. Anything that has a backing like this, flip your rugs over at home, see if it has a backing, is absolutely not good. So what it does is it hides what they did below this thing, which is a latex glue, which actually is toxin. And if you have got any rugs over the net, I hate to say it, over the net, because it's easy to sell and they're inexpensive, you buy these things over the internet. So when it comes to your house, they smell. Have you noticed that? They smell more like a gasoline or more like a diesel because they don't let the latex cure. And the latex that glues this wool to this backing smells a lot. On top of that, they shed quite a lot. The wool is cheap because they need to be inexpensive, and they shed. I would not recommend you to get anything, again, that has a backing and is glued, because it comes apart very easily. It is temporary. It is not a green product because they wear very quickly, end up in the fill, and just basically as a landfill junk we are adding to our planet. The things I would recommend you to get, unlike these things that have backing, is the rugs that they have nuts to them. So as what to buy, I highly recommend you to get some rugs that they are hand knotted. And how you can see, flip it to the back, and you can see the knots are done individually, and each one is slightly different than the next one because they're done by hand, and the intensity of the wool and the pull they have the weaver makes them look different. Also, the sides are done by hand. That you can see very easily. If you want to buy a real rug, please come to Santa Barbara Design Center and I can gladly help you. Thank you for joining us on Design FYI, Santa Barbara Design Center, 410 Olive. This week on Michael's Minute, we are going to talk about modern and transitional rugs. At Santa Barbara Design Center, we have over 1,000 modern and transitional rugs at any given time in various sizes and colors. A modern or transitional rug can completely transform your living space. It can make a cold room comfortable or balance out an uneven contrast. We can also custom make the modern rug of your dreams, designed to your specification, taste, and color. And at Santa Barbara Design Center, we can do it faster, better, for less. That's why the top designers in the world use our modern and transitional rugs. To see our vast collection or start designing your custom masterpiece, come visit us at Santa Barbara Design Center, 410 Olive Street. My grandfather taught me about the beauty of the rugs. Each one tells a story. Story about the person who wove it, the person who bought it, the person who inherits it, the person who treasures it. It's amazing how simply looking at an object can bring you back to a different place and time, or remind you of someone you love. At Santa Barbara Design Center, we want to help you find a rug that will travel through time with your family for generations to come. Visit us at 410 Olive Street and find your treasure today. Welcome to Design Santa Barbara. I'm Michael Kurash, and today we are in Santa Barbara Design Center, heading south to Montecito to visit my dear friend Lisa Wilson Goldmuth. She has this beautiful project I hear about, and I'm excited to see what is this all about. Oh my goodness. What happened to you, Lisa?
Well, this is why I haven't been on the show in a minute.
We have missed you so long.
I decided to do a cheerleading jump, which was a bad idea. My daughter dared me. And instead of the jump, I separated my Achilles tendon from the back of my foot.
Oh my gosh.
So that was several months ago. And in 40 more weeks, I'll be just fine.
You're looking fine already. You're looking fine, but I hope, pray that gets speedy recovery.
It's slow and steady is going to win the race on this one.
Wonderful. So, what are we doing here?
Well,
from outside looks beautiful. Looks like a Normandy house. It looks like dream house from outside.
And that's the point about the project. This was so much fun. I have a client who acquired the house who called me and said, I really love the outside of the house. I really love the neighborhood, but the inside is like not good.
Okay.
So he talked to me about, I don't really care what you do, but I want to make it really nice, and I want to make it comfortable, and I want to walk in, and I don't want to feel like it's dated. But I also don't want to spend a bunch of money right now until I move in on things like the bathrooms. And if you can help me see it in a different light, then I know I'm going to love this house.
Oh yeah, your client picked the right person.
Well, what often happens with houses of this age, it's a couple 20-ish years old, is that the first time the people did it, it was lavish and it was a lot of drama. Let me walk into the living room with you and we'll talk about what the drama was in here.
Yes, I'm actually excited to see it. Haven't had you for a long time on our show. It's a fresh air. Let's do.
Alrighty, off we go.
Okay, now I can see Lisa's signature. This is a beautiful place. And is it really an old house?
It is. It's a house that has some years on it. And what the client, who is such a nice person, just couldn't see is that there was pink pearlescent paint on all of the trim. And this was carpet. It was black, very expensive carpet for the time, but it had red and pink roses in it.
Nice.
So it had this timestamp on it that said, oh, 80s sort of thing. But he really liked the fireplace. And what we decided to do was take a piece of art that related to that and then run with that color palette.
Wow, okay. So this painting you got, and then that was the palette for the whole house.
Everything took off from
Beautiful.
there. So as you can see, we've used coral, green, and gray, and then just surrounded that with more muted colors of coral, green, and gray. The rug you might recognize.
Oh, I was going to say, I kept hold myself back, but yeah, oh my goodness, this is my favorite rug, which you, by the way, helped design, and thank you. It's beautiful.
Well, this one that I had you make for me is 16 by 24. So that tells you the scope of the room.
And it doesn't go even all the way to the end.
And the scale, what I like about it is that it says, here's a space, there's a space in the bay window, but yet you're not walking straight onto a rug. You need to have an island for things, but if you go all the way over, it gets a little tight.
It is a frames actually, beautifully. And I can see there's 1 sitting, 2 sitting, 3 sitting areas, and actually you have also ottomans there, so literally 4 sitting areas you have in the same room.
Well, you know how I love a pull-up ottoman.
Yes.
So what can happen is, because this can be an entertaining house, the gardens are magical. You want this to be a room where a lot of people can come and have vignettes where they can talk and greet each other. So people can sit here, but then these people can go here or there.
Beautiful.
And then we pull those up if we need more.
I think you did marvelous in here. I'm very airy, very happy, and not modern, but very comfortably contemporary.
Yes, transitional.
Transitional, yes.
We used one paint color throughout all the walls to unify the hallways and the spaces, so it felt, again, a little bit more modern instead of that sort of 80s, 90s vernacular of here's a room that's red, and here's a room that's pink, and here's a room that's green.
I bet you the viewers picked on that. One color wall makes a big difference.
Yeah.
All right, very good. So, let's see another room.
Let's go. This adjoins we have his and her offices, which is also so great right now because so many people have been working from home. So we'll go to the office.
All right. Ooh, this is, I take it is his office, hopefully?
Yes.
He looks like a safari.
Well, and again, this is one of the fun things about showing you a project when it's like almost done but not quite, because we like this room the way it is, but we're also thinking about maybe painting all the woodwork a really pretty dark gray, a high gloss dark gray, which would make it even more modern, and it'd be fun for people to see it like this and then imagine it if they're doing their own house, like, oh, I could paint, like if I'm tired of my wood, I could just paint.
Well, you know, it's not easy, but you know, yeah, it's gonna change big time, I would say. You're right.
When we think about remodeling costs, paint is the fastest and the least expensive thing to do. Better than moving a wall, better than changing floors.
Absolutely true. Don't say moving the walls in Santa Barbara County. That's you're not moving any walls.
But this is a really comfortable office, and because of the woodwork, we decided this would be the master of the house. If you
and it's beautiful view with those bay windows, and it's beautiful. Everything has so many tall, big windows. It makes it airy. And as you said, they're beautiful gardens, which we're going to see hopefully later.
Yeah, we'll take you out to the garden. But again, we used furnishings in here that spoke to, it's more clubby, it's a little bit more masculine, with an antique set of Dumas books that have been in the family for a long time, and taking the art and again making it relate to what we did in the other room.
Yes, beautiful.
Yeah.
Very nice, very nice.
Thanks. So we'll head that way now.
And this room is?
So here's the ladies' office, or whoever else wants it. What we love about this is that it's completely different than the other room. It's so light and it's so bright, which is why we said there's a positive, like, female-male vibe going on. So we made this really relaxing with the bay windows being the star of the show and the light. But the thing I love about it is that this used to be a ballet room. There was a mirrored wall and a ballet bar, and again it was like, well, that's so specific to the people who used to be here. When you buy a house that's older, make the rooms what you want, not what they wanted.
Absolutely, and it's beautiful. I love this chaise you have in here, and you can see the lady sitting here reading a book, and
it's just really restful.
A beautiful desk. I mean, it's just, I see even some real correlation. You have that shagreen on it, could be related to the safari team out there. It's beautiful, beautiful, very nice. Lisa, thank you as usual. This is a wonderful experience having you on our show, and our viewers love you, and I do too. And it is a beautiful project you have had, and I see still another piece of property down there. And what is that about?
It's a guest house and a pool, and there's an outdoor fireplace. And as we were just commenting, we are so lucky to live in Montecito, where the weather is gorgeous, and we can have things like outside fireplaces and pools and hot tubs 12 months a year. And again, we laugh because the pool house, when we first got here to start this project, was red, all of it, and now it's not. So you'll take a wander down there, and you can see the reveal yourself. We made it a little bit red, but more red, white, and blue.
I will definitely check it out. So based on the project you did today, and you did I think you say it's a big remodel to me, but you say it's not, without changing the footprint of the whole house. Maybe you can tell the viewers how you do this and why you should do it and what are the benefits for it.
Okay. I think that there's two different things to design. One is a remodel, and the other one is sort of a redecoration. And what we did here mostly was a redecoration, because we didn't really have to move walls. The rooms were all where they should be, and they were the right size. So to remodel, sometimes you have to change the footprint of something that feels old. This had a great footprint, and what we needed to do was just bring it into the 21st century with colors and furniture and fixtures that work for what we all want today and what we like today. The 80s and the 90s especially had a warmer color palette than we are seeing now. So we cooled down the color palette and lifted everything and just made everything relax.
I surely did, and it looks beautiful, marvelous. It's happy. You go in
it's
there,
a happy
it feels
house.
like airy, happy, and it's not modern, it's transitional, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
Very beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so very much. I appreciate it, as usual, being on our show, and delightful to see your projects.
Well, it's good to be back.
Good to be back.
I'm sorry I was absent.
No, well, you're back now. Okay. Thank you again.
You're welcome.
That's why I love working with Lisa Wilson Goldman. She's an amazing interior designer. As we can see, she takes an old house and without changing the footprint, turns it into an amazing transitional home. I'm looking forward to see what she has for us in store next time. Thank you for joining us on Design Santa Barbara. See you next week.